my yard. Growing marijuana in my yard. I got little pots of pipe spread out all over the lot, 'cause I'm growing marijuana in my yard. Well, I got the seed from Mexico.
It's time to take down the trail camera, replace the batteries, check the SD card, which is in here, make sure it's all good, and reset everything. I pretty much don't run this thing during the veg stage. Nobody's going to come usually and steal your plants in the veg stage. It's when you go into flowering. So being September 8th and the plants are starting to set up, now's the time to get the old trail camera down, give it a little cleaning, make sure everything's working good, replace the batteries, put it back up, switch her on, see what happens. And here we go. Okay, so basically we're gonna go through all the menu settings, and we're gonna make everything just right, get our resolution so all the settings are right, and then we're gonna put her back up where it's out of reach, nobody can get to it, but point it directly.
I'm on a really tall ladder. Hopefully, you know, you don't witness any accident here. I don't think you will. But this is where I located, and I located up here for a reason, because nobody is going to be able to get up here and get to the camera unless they have this ladder, and they're not. I'm not going to leave this ladder back here, so I don't have to worry about that. But it points directly down at my plant. It's motion activated, and it has night vision.
Okay, camera's all mounted and ready to go. Okay, inspection time. You saw about a week or so ago we had an inspection, found powdery mildew, and you know we're in for the fight. The first thing we did was take off all of these leaves and sucker branches that aren't going to amount to much, and it really does seem to have made a difference. I'm not seeing a lot a week later. A lot of powdery mildew coming back, at least not on this particular pheno. I'm not seeing any. That's the UBC2. The Mr. Clean appears to be clean, so living up to her name. I don't know why it's Mr. Clean, should be Mrs. Clean, right? Yeah, so that's not bad, but let's see what's on UBC number 5. And you can see there is still some coming back here on the UBC5. So it's been a while since we sprayed the sulfurs. You know, at first I thought maybe some of it is sulfur residue, and I don't think so, though. I think this is the powdery mildew coming back. So I'm going to be mixing up some potassium silicate with some hydrogen peroxide, and I'm going to be applying a spray with our spray bottle into the middle of this plant. This is where, you know, this is the cold, low light areas where powdery mildew kind of originates, and of course this is the north side of my plants, the shady side, the cool side of the plants, and this is where you get it mostly. I'll take you around to the front and show you the difference between front and back of this plant, for example, you know, looking at the powdery mildew that's here. So let's go around the front. So this is the front side of the plant, way up there. There is a little bit of powdery mildew on this side, but not like on the back side. This is the sunny side, the south side. So tends to be more resistant. I don't think powdery mildew likes it quite so hot and sunny. It likes a little shade. So watch out for the shady side of your plant. Inspect it real good for powdery mildew. Take action early. If you wait too long, it's really, really hard to deal with. Before we start spraying and doing that stuff, let's look at the breeding stock. We've got our breeding stock here. And everybody's flowering pretty good over here. These are 6 different strains, and you know I've been putting pollen on them. Let's just kind of have a look. If you look underneath here, you can see some of these bigger, fatter calyxes in there. Those could be seed pods. See those big, fat calyxes in there with the hairs? Well, actually, the hairs are gone, and I think there, see right there at the end of my finger. I believe there may be seeds in there, kind of developing. I'm hoping so. So I'm going to keep an eye on things. Hopefully, oh yeah, here you go. Look at this. See that big fat calyx there, right there. Okay. See that how big and fat that is? That's usually a sign that you got some seed development, but it could just be a big fat empty calyx. I'm not going to squish it or anything because there is a seed in there. I don't want to wreck it. So, Long Island Pink number 2. Candida. Candida, you know, the CBD strain usually go earlier, but I did dust these. It's probably a little too early to see any potential seed development. This is a very nice plant here. I'm really hoping I get some seeds off of this one because it's got really nice sugar-coated buds. And if we look in there, there are some seed pods developing, I think. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. Yeah, because it's you know, it is a very nice plant. It's got really nice structure, and it's got a very nice smell, and it's very, very sticky. So I really like that one. And that is the Long Island Pink number 1. And here we have the Nightingale CBD also, but for a little further along. Yeah, probably again. I did these just a few days ago, so probably not going to show anything yet. And finally, the pink. Yeah, probably still a little bit early, but I'm going to keep checking.
Here's all the stuff I'm going to use. Potassium silicate, that's to raise the pH in the water. That raises the pH level on the surface of the leaf after I spray it. That's going to discourage powdery mildew from coming back. Powdery mildew does not like high pH. So I'm going to pH this water in this bucket up to about 9. And then I'm going to add hydrogen peroxide. This is 29%, but you'll sometimes get 27. It's okay. I'm going to use this at 1 milliliter per liter. Don't exceed that. You can burn your plants with this if you put in too much. More is not always better. So 1 milliliter per liter of the hydrogen peroxide, and you just add the potassium silicate as needed until you get the pH to 9. Sometimes potassium silicate can be really thick and syrupy and hard to dissolve in cold water. So sometimes I'll put a little bit in a cup with a bit of warm water, and it just dissolves it in advance so that I can add it to the water, and it diffuses into the water much better. So let's get our pH pen here. Again, we want it to be 9. So let's just get my mixer. Here's my handy cast off from the kitchen. So let's see where our pH is right now. Okay, about 6.7. So I'm going to add some potassium silicate. Just a little bit at a time, because you don't want to go up too fast, or you're going to have to add more water, and just get yourself in this little daisy chain of back and forth with your pH. So let's see what that brought it to. Okay. All right. I think that's good. That was probably just about the right amount. I don't know if you can see the pen, but it's reading 9.5. I want it to be between 9 and 10. That's where I want it to be. So 9.5, 9.6, that's good for me. It's just a nice high pH. Okay, so I've used my eyedropper. Measures 1 milliliter. I put in 5 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide into 5 liters of water, so that's 1 milliliter per liter. The pH is now at 9.5, 9.6, which is where you want it. This mixture is ready to spray. This is an organic mixture. It's really good to use. It's not a cure. The hydrogen peroxide is going to disrupt the cellular structure of the powdery mildew and kill it. And the potassium silicate is going to raise the level of the pH on the leaf, and that's going to discourage it from coming back. Now, this is not a cure. It's a treatment. There is no cure for powdery mildew. It's a forever disease. So we're just going to battle it, keep it at bay, keep it out of the bud, and we're going to use this really nice mixture. It's totally organic. You don't have to wear a mask. It's not poisonous. It's not going to hurt you in any way. It's not going to leave a residue on your plant. The first time it rains, it's going to come off. I may even have to reapply it later because it does. So we got our sprayer all pressurized, pumped up. We're going to get in here and do some spraying. I'm going to get on the tops of these. You can see it makes a nice spray. So I'm just going to get up in there, sit on the top side of the leaves. That's where most of it is living right now, is on the top side of the leaves. I'm going to get down, right down inside here. Get in as much as I can. Try to hit all the leaves. Should be okay for the buds. They're still early, and it's not going to damage them or anything, I don't think. So I'm just going to give it a good even coating of this nice spray. Notice I'm doing it on a cloudy day too. Normally I would do this in the evening, maybe an hour before dark, just so it gives it a chance to sit in the
See, it's already starting to evaporate off the leaves. You can see there's no residue left behind. Everybody's had a good dousing, especially this one. For some reason, and you'll notice that different plants will be more susceptible. Some are more susceptible than others. Yeah, the UBC5 seems to be a little bit more susceptible. But you can see we've sprayed everybody really good. And all that powdery mildew I was seeing has all been washed away. And it's been replaced by a moist surface that's pH level is between 9 and 10. And back here, this is where we saw all the powdery mildew. Remember, I just took that footage, which you could actually see it on there. And now you can see it's all been washed off. This is going to set it back, you know, maybe a couple of weeks. I might have to do one more spraying of this solution, but if I have to, I will. If I don't have to, I won't. I'm not just going to do it if I don't have to. I prefer not to spray anything on my plants when they're in flower. But if I have to, you know, under these circumstances, this would be the best spray. It would be the only one that I would use. Anything else is going to leave a residue that you just don't want on your bud when you harvest. And you certainly don't want it in your bag. Oh, just for fun. Let's see if we can do a little reachy reach here. Okay. Well, there's my hand. I'm 6'1", monkey arms. There's that plant. Oh, way up there. Yes, there is a big root pouch under this plant, so take off 18 inches, but I can touch an 8-foot ceiling, so that's where my finger is. I would say these plants are easily every bit 8 feet tall. I can't afford a drone, but I can afford a ladder, so here I am at the top of the ladder. That's my eaves trough right up there in the soffit. So here we are, looking down on my plants. I haven't looked down on these plants since early July. So there's a little panorama for you. September 16th. Nice sunny day. Looks like some good weather ahead for flowering. You know, everything's starting to show pretty good now. You know, it is mid-September, so we're a little bit behind where a lot of people are. A lot of people are finished already. But you can see we've got some bud development going here, so that's a good thing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little check for some powdery mildew. You know, I've been kind of battling this. I'm going to start with the UBC number 2. I've sprayed twice now with the potassium silicate and hydrogen peroxide solution, and it seems to be doing a pretty good job. And you know, I took a bunch of foliage off too. So that's UBC number 2, looks good. Not much on there. This is Mr. Clean. Yeah, Mr. Clean's looking pretty clean. That's as good. Yeah, nothing on there. I think my problem child really is this one here, the UBC number 5, and you can see there are some spots on the leaves. So I think I'm going to go ahead and spray everybody, at least back here. This is the dark side of my plants. This is the north side, you know, between the wall of my house, and on the other side, they're in full sun. Doesn't seem to be as much of an issue over there, but I'm going to go ahead and take a check over there just to make sure. I don't want to spray the front side if I don't have to in the full sun. So, but I definitely will be spraying back here. Okay, so looking at the front side, I see we have one of our little friends here. They're always nice. Yeah, I'm not seeing any powdery mildew up here. Everything looks to be pretty good. Funky leaves, we'll just get rid of those. And see here, here's the front side of the UBC number 5, and you can see it's clean. There's no powdery mildew on the sunny side, so I may give it a little bit of a spray maybe later in the day. But for right now, I'm just going to concentrate on just checking my breeding stock, and yeah, I just found a little immature seed in there, so we are getting some seeds. This is a good thing. Really glad to see this because I really want to have a lot of seeds. So that's really awesome. I've already found some on the other plants too, so it's just a matter of how many. This is a video record. What we have here is pink. we have here is Nightingale. What we have here is LIP number 1. This one is Candida. This one is LIP number 2. And this one is...
Growing your own cannabis is easy and rewarding, and BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville, and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive. The only way to go.
September 22nd. Yeah, things are kicking in pretty good. We're going to do a little bit of work today on the plants. We're going to look at them for see what's going on with the powdery mildew situation. Probably mix up some spray, do that today. Something else I'm going to do is I'm going to feed my plants a little bit of PK 1314. It's a really nice product from Canada. It's a bud igniter, basically. It really helps them to kick into gear. You only use it once. Right about now, well, maybe I could have used it a few days earlier, but I'm going to go ahead because my plants are a little bit behind. I'm also going to be looking at the trichomes today just to see where they're at. This is a cool little microscope. You clip it onto your phone and you can actually take some footage. You may have seen me use this in previous episodes of our indoor series. Also, I need my pH pen just to make sure everything's on the up and up. And yeah, I got my pruning shears out. I'm still doing some pruning, strategic pruning, just for the powdery mildew. So we're on the north side of the plant, the cool side. This is where the powdery mildew kind of thrives. Just gonna do a little check around here. Yeah, so UBC number 2 looks pretty good. Got a little bit happening here on the Mr. Clean. Just little specks. The potassium silicate and hydrogen peroxide mixture has been really working well to keep this stuff in check. As you know, I've been fighting this battle for several weeks. I've got my little step ladder here, and I'm just going to get up here where I can see the UBC 5, just to see how it's gotten all the way up high here. So yeah, this seems to be my problem child as far as powdery mildew is concerned. So I'm probably going to be sacrificing branches. You know, you're looking at something like this. You know, these really won't amount to a lot. They're not the best buds on the plant by any stretch, and they're just mold holders, as Deb calls them. And you know, I might do something strategic with this one. It looks like it could be a bud, so I might try to save that one. But you know, that one might be gone. These ones will definitely be gone. Definitely that one, possibly that one. So it is strategic pruning. We're sacrificing these little things down here to save all of these things. This is probably a good time, you know, looking at it, the dirt. Looks like it's pretty dry in there. So yeah, it's time to water these. So put that PK 1314 in, and we'll water these down. So the application rate for the PK 1314 is 15 milliliters per 10 liters of water. I don't know why they do it per 10 liters, just call it per liter. So basically that amounts to 1.5 milliliters per liter. So I've got about 100 liters left in my barrel. Still got the boost and the Flores in it. Now I'm going to double check the pH just to make sure everything's good. So I've got my pH pen. So 150 milliliters of PK 1314 is going to go into the barrel, and I'm going to apply that to all the plants. Okay, see if it makes a difference. There you go, 150 milliliters of PK 1314, and to the barrel it goes. So let's mix that up and check the pH. Okay, so let's check that pH. Gotta be careful with my phone here, I don't want to drop it in there. But what we're looking at there is 6.5, so you can see the nutrient buffering's kind of disappeared a little bit over the last couple of days. So I'm just going to add a little phosphoric acid, get that back down to 6.2. Everything will be good. pH is at 6.2. We're ready to start watering. And here we go. Okay, I'm noticing I've got ants on my plants. If you have ants in your plants, you probably have aphids. So there's probably aphids up here. So I'm going to be checking for those too with that magnifier. see if we can find some aphids, show you some aphids, and hopefully it's not too bad. If it's not an infestation, I'm not going to do anything about it. It's just too far into flower to be spraying stuff on your plants. So we'll see if we can find alternative methods to deal with the aphids. So now we get to fight aphids too. Stock. Super sour diesel. Looking good. I mean, look at the bud formation on that. I'm going to make some mental notes as we go here. So it's a very small, tight, compact plant. Really nice buds, nice and fat. Let's see how they smell. Got a nice smell. There's a little bit of powdery mildew on there, but not much. So it does appear to be pretty resistant to powdery mildew, which is good. But no plant is completely immune. But this one seems to be fighting it pretty good. So hopefully we get the seeds and we can pass on those genetics. Next we got the LIP2. And LIP2 structurally is nice. It's got pretty good bud formation, definitely nice trichomes on it. By the way, while I'm looking at it, you see some of these leaves on here. We'll just pick these off and get rid of them. But I have a lot of people ask me during flowering season, you know, they say, oh, I'm getting yellowing leaves on my plants. It's normal. It's fall, and the leaves turn. And as the plant matures, it starts to use up the stored energy in those leaves to feed these buds. So that's LIP2. Here's our Candida CBD strain. It's coming along nicely too. I do believe there are probably some seeds in there, hopefully. And then here's one of the champions for sure. This is the LIP Pheno number 1. I mean, that's quite nice. This is probably my favorite plant out of all the breeding stock. It's just a multi-topped. Look at that. I mean, this is probably going to be a pound, and it's growing in a 10-gallon rhizopot. So you know, even a 10-gallon can get you almost a pound per plant. I think that's what we're looking at on this. But of course, it's not the bud that I'm interested in so much as the seed. And you know, I picked one out of there the other day, so it's looking good for that one. And here's our other Nightingale strain, another CBD. And look at the bud development on this. Like for a CBD strain, these are some fine buds for a CBD strain. So again, though, you know, the bud is nice, but really want the seed. And finally, our pink. Look at the pink. It's getting heavy, and I hope it's getting heavy for good reasons. I did notice also that most of these plants have a little bit of powdery mildew on them, but not too bad, so fairly resistant. Now this pink, it's probably got some of the genetics from my old pink that I grew a couple of years ago, and it was always susceptible to powdery mildew, and you can see it's got it pretty good here. So it's not real resistant to powdery mildew, but it's not really affecting the yield much. Oh, look at this. All right, so see the brown in there? That is botrytis. Botrytis is a nasty little thing. Some people call it bud rot. Nope, there's another piece there. So I'm going to have to do a little surgery on these to try to save these buds, because I don't want that bud rot, the botrytis, to get to my seeds if there's any in there. So we're going to be doing sunny side. Last part of the inspection. UBC number 2 Pheno. I've got these yellowing leaves. I've had these. I might have mentioned them earlier. I'm really not sure what's causing that. It just seems to be on some of the tops. It's not on all of them. Now, I do suspect I have an aphid problem here. Here's one of your indicators for aphids. You'll see ladybugs. Ladybugs are the good guys. They're in there eating those aphids. Not sure what that is. Oh, that's a ladybug larvae right there. So that's the larval stage of the ladybugs, and they do eat them too. See, there, look here. So when you see ants on your plants, and you see a lot of ladybugs, you probably have aphids. So look at all these nymphs. Yeah, they're cool. Look like little Volkswagen Beetles that have been all painted up black and orange. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave those good guys in there and let them do their job, because they're helping me out right now. They're keeping these things in check. I don't want to spray anything on these plants, so we're not going to. Let's let the natural insects do their job. So the good thing is that there's no powdery mildew. So on to Mr. Clean, or I want to call it Mrs. Clean, but anyway. yeah, it's looking good too. No powdery mildew on the sunny side. Buds are getting going. Okay, problem child, UVC number 5. Yeah, it's not as bad on this side, but look at here underneath. So, you know, I may be sacrificing some of these, you know, just to save these up here. First thing I'm going to do though is I'm going to spray them first with the hydrogen peroxide and potassium silicate solution, because I want to take those branches off when it's wet. If you take it off when it's dry like this, sometimes just the action of physically moving those branches and doing the cut can release spores, and I don't want to release spores. So spraying them first will make sure that doesn't happen. And you see down up under here? Let me see if I can get in there. Okay, see? Now that's down underneath. It's getting a little bud on it, but look at that's a mold holder for sure right there. So that one might have to go too. See, it goes down to there, and I'm probably just going to take that one off. So it's triage. It's just like you got a patient at the emergency ward. The one that is the most advanced case gets first attention. So let's get this one cleaned up. Okay, pH is 9.2. I think that'll do it for the spray. Hydrogen peroxide comes next. Okay, so that's 4 milliliters of hydrogen peroxide. Now I just stir this up, put it in the spray bottle. Okay, so we finished spraying our plants. I got a good thorough coat on the number 5 pheno of UBC. Now I'm going to make my cut. So when I make the cut, because it's wet, it won't release those spores, and the hydrogen peroxide has probably already started to kill the powdery mildew that was on there. So it's just a good idea to do that before you start making those cuts, so we don't just send spores flying through the air where they're going to land elsewhere and take root. So let's get going. We're looking for these little buds. You know, yeah, I know it's kind of hairing up and it's looking okay, but honestly, it's on the north side. You know, these ones aren't really going to amount to much, and they're just holding a lot of mold. So, you know, I'm going to start just taking these branches right off. You know, like this one here, you follow it down. I mean, it's a decent sized branch, but I'm sorry, it's just got to go. It's not good. So that's gone. And, you know, this one, again, here's another one. It's gone. Okay, so we're looking for aphids. Let's see what we can find here. There's one. See it? That is an aphid. Look how fat that sucker is. It's yeah, there goes another one. So yeah, we do definitely have aphids, that's for sure. Not a lot we can do at this point, except maybe remove the leaves that are affected the worst. So that's probably what I'm going to do, is just take some of these leaves off and try to reduce the population that way. I mean, there are quite a few on this leaf. I wouldn't class it as an infestation. When you have an infestation, they're basically shoulder to shoulder on your leaves. So it's not the worst. The strategic pruning. Yep, we're getting up higher on the plant, and we're getting more spaces under there, but that's okay. We've got all the mold holders out, and we're letting more air in, and we're going to save all those doozies up there. And this is basically the kind of stuff that we've been taking off. So, I mean, yeah, there's a little flower on there, but for the most part, this isn't going to amount to much. You know, I mean, none of this stuff is really worth risking the good stuff for. So it's all gone. It's going back to the back corner of the lot to make sure that it's as far away from these plants. Okay, we're looking at trichomes. You can see trichomes on there. They do kind of look a little bit cloudy, don't they? So things are progressing, but you know, it's far too soon. What do we have there? Is that a yeah, looks like an aphid. An aphid in the trichomes. That's not a good sign, but I'm not sure what we can do about that right now. They will fall off. We will make sure that nothing like that gets into the bag, that's for sure. That is a ladybug nymph. Aren't they funny looking? That thing is eating aphids already, which is good. Here's a couple more. Let's have a look at these. Yeah, so here's the super sour diesel trichomes. Take a look at these. I really don't care if these get cloudy or amber. I'm not worried about picking them on time. I'm just going to let them go all the way, so any seeds that are in there can become, fully mature, so that they're very viable. That's what I'm looking for. But yeah, look at the trichomes on that. Look at that. This is a nice strain. This is my favorite of all my breeding stock. This one is definitely the one I like best. And look at cloudy. Let's see if we can get you a close-up look at botrytis. So there's the botrytis. Nasty looking stuff. See how brown it is. Some people call it bud rot. It is botrytis, and it's not a good thing, but it's not the worst thing in the world. We'll just want to show you these castor bean plants growing out of a 5-gallon pot. They've been growing outdoors all summer, and look how big these things get. Even just in a 5-gallon bucket, they get huge. And these are all seeds. So we'll probably grow some more castor beans next year, maybe back against the fence back there to get them up above the fence a bit with the bamboo, work in tandem with the bamboo to kind of cut off our neighborhood back there.